sweater was probably go home. Because I remember I was on the MTA bus just going home from school, and then I was seeing, oh, they released it like 3 minutes early. Because I was just refreshing the portal, and then I seen I got accepted, and I'm like, oh wow, cool. That was really it. I celebrated a lot. Honestly, I was just super excited. Got a scholarship, and it was like really, really surreal to me, honestly, that it just paid off.
Has your mindset changed at all now that you are realizing that you're going to college?
I'd say that my mindset definitely has changed now, because now that I'm going to college, that means like the work would finally be like harder and like more intense, and it's like a whole different scale compared to high school. And I'm like, finally, this is the chance that I'm waiting for, because like both high school, it was just like, okay, the work was like, all right, I get it done, not really interested, right? College, I'm just more so excited for the work, and I'm ready to face it head on, and it's just like, I'm just really ready.
Yeah, and to be honest, I had some kind of structure at NYU for the last 4 years.
So what is your role at NYU?
I teach specifically production. I teach light, camera, and audio production. I got a pretty sweet gig, unusual lineup at NYU, and most people, I don't have a single class. I have like 6, 7 different classes. So I teach only light, camera, and sound, but the multiple classes. So rather than having a single class of students, I teach all the technical instruction for documentary at the freshman and sophomore level.
So I think everybody here is really into film, I would assume. You know,
All of us are.
So because you do teach lighting and all that stuff that does have to go really heavily into film, what do you think are some resources that students now should take advantage of so that when they do get to your class, it's a lot easier on them?
Okay. The main thing is looking up, I would say, resources to take advantage of. This right here, you're already doing a huge, you guys don't know it, but you already have a huge head start on anybody going to film school that didn't come from a program like this. This is basically a good precursor. I know, because I teach the same thing, I teach at NYU here. So I tell students that had me here that end up coming to NYU, like Oscar, who's there right now, taking a class with me right now, that I don't have anything new to tell you, because I already told you really. So I'm going to repeat what I already told you. Again, so not a lot you necessarily need to do, certainly not prepare to come to my class. I would say it's really more about work ethic. And what he said, it's going to be a lot more intense, it's a lot more serious, and one of the things I think that is different when you go to a school like NYU, or school that has that reputation, is that you're being lifted up by a whole bunch of other programs. You might be top dog at your high school, you will not be top dog at college. You might be the best kid with the video that everybody's talking about where you're from. When you come to school like NYU, you go way down there, and you'll realize there's a whole bunch of people that are even better than you. And that's not bad. It's a good thing, because those are going to be your co-workers, and those are going to be the people that are going to be learning. People don't realize that a lot of the learning you do in film school is not in the classroom with a person like me. You're in the classroom with me, I show you how to use the lights, but when you're actually using them for the other 20, 30, 40 hours of production, you're in the field with your fellow students. So that becomes really important about who it is that you're out there with, how serious are they about their making, and what kind of skills are they bringing to the table. Because half the learning, if not more, is honestly done between students in the field where the professors really aren't.
So can you give us like a rundown of like an average class that, if we were to take the class with you, what would you like cover? How would it start?
Well, with me, it's a little different. I'll talk a little bit about how these classes are structured at NYU, because it is unique in terms of their program. They have a very specific curriculum that they want you to move you through. At freshman level, a lot of people are disappointed to find this out. At the freshman level, unless you change something, there is no production at the freshman level. So when you come in the freshman level, you're taking a class, last I checked, called frame and sequence or sound and image. A lot of students hate this. Frame and sequence is basically telling a picture, telling a story with still pictures. What NYU does that not a lot of people realize, they want to break it back down to the basics. So a lot of you guys have learned things. We want to unlearn some of that stuff and start from scratch. So people come in sometimes, and I'm a perfect example of somebody who didn't know that. I skipped the 4 classes, and NYU and transferred to another school. I didn't need to. I graduated from OIU in '94, but I skipped the 4 classes when I came in there, and it was a huge mistake that I didn't know until years later. I told them that I'd already taken 3 film classes at my previous school. I don't want to start all over again here, but that's dumb because I'm going to the school where they give you that core foundation. And so I didn't realize until 20 years later what I missed. Now that I'm teaching it, it's easy to explain to kids have. So, yeah, I would say is go through that sequence. And what they're trying to do is break you back down, get you to tell a story with just audio. How many of you ever told a story with just audio? How many of you told a story with just pictures? A lot of people came out to crib with video in their hands, and it just, need to unlearn some of those things. So we break it back down to basics in those classes, and then go it up, make sure you got a solid composition, make sure you fully understand audio. And one of the things I teach now is audio, is because of that class that I did not want to take. Took it a few weeks in, I loved it. Like I never knew this was so exciting. I never knew you could do all these things with audio. It gave me an appreciation, and that's one of the things that I want to show. This is one of the things the program forces you to do in every level, freshman and sophomore. You have to do every position whether you want to or not. Because nobody just comes in and you can just direct. You're going to direct, you're going to write, you're going to do editing, you're going to do whatever that crappy job is you don't want to do. You're going to do all of them, so you'll have a better appreciation and understanding of how it all comes together. And in my experience, at least half of the students that come through discover something they didn't plan on going into film school with. So they walk out with some different skills or a different focus because of their experience.
That's amazing. So obviously NYU is a very big school. You've probably taken a lot of students. You have like 7 different classes. What would you say is something that makes a student stand out from the rest in your class?
Well, it's easy. Just somebody who takes initiative. Not that there's not a lot of students, but kids that are smart, take initiative. People that ask questions, that are engaged probably, makes a kid stand out more so. Honestly, in my classes, I'm doing the talking like 95% of the time, so there ain't much opportunity to stand out for the most part because I'm doing lecture-based instructional, so it's not a lot of back and forth per se. But I would say certain students do shine. And I would say one of the ones that take the initiative, that are doing stuff on their own, I'm blown away constantly by students and what they're doing outside of school.
Thank you so much. So moving on to Jen. You're here with Media Makers, right? Okay, so you also went to a 4-year college, right? What 4-year college?
I went to Georgetown University. It's in DC, and I didn't study film there. I studied politics there. And then after I graduated, I came back to New York City because I was born and raised here, and then I was like, oh, I actually do want to work in film, but I have no idea how to get there. Yeah, and that's how RealWorks helped me out, because I did RealWorks after I graduated, and it gave me the knowledge after taking Anthony's class and the connections to be able to join the film industry.
Nice. Where did Media Makers get into that whole story?
Yeah, so Media Makers is something that I did after I did the RealWorks Fellows program. It taught me professional skills, to work in the workplace, or how to communicate with other people, how to communicate with other people on a set. Yeah, but Media Makers also has a lot of options for professional training. They partner with the unions, and they partner with other production companies and large media companies to help place you in internships as well. Those weren't programs that I personally took part in, but they are good. They're great offerings for getting your foot in the door in the media industry.
How do you think Media Makers has helped you now that, because you were on the cinematography track in RealWorks, and now you're what?
Now I'm the in-house producer at RealWorks.
By having the opportunity to be in Media Makers, helped push you towards that?
Yeah, I think, Media Makers is great, and everyone should join it, because also it is a huge community, it is a huge network that you can draw on for whatever you want to do in your career within the film and TV industry. They have lots of people, they have lots of alumni who are currently at all the biggest media companies that you can think of, if you list them off the top of your head. They also have people who are working on all of the biggest TV shows and feature films, and they will give you the technical training that you need in order to enter into the tracks, into the departments that you want to. So it's a great resource, and it's all offered for free, or they pay you to take part in them. So totally recommend.
For people who do want to sign up, because this is open to all of RealWorks students, what would you recommend, them start tapping into more, or for them to be prepared when they do if they do get accepted into Media Makers?
Yeah. What programs would I
Like,
Right.
if they do want to sign into Media Makers, no matter which track they go into, what should be like their base knowledge before they go into that space?
I think a lot of them don't require you to have any base knowledge. I think it's like you just for some of them you might need to have like a license. For some of them you just have to be 18. I think for everyone in the space who's like just graduating now or a senior or something, like yeah, I think all you need is like an interest in joining the film and TV industry. They're really interested in breaking down the barriers to the industry, so if you show interest, that is all you need. Yeah.
Thank you. So you're Judith,
Yes.
right? Can you repeat your introduction?
Yes, so I'm Judith, and I work at Brooklyn College. I'm the program director of the undergraduate film program.
So do you teach multiple different classes, or are you focused on one like sort of subject within film?
So that's an interesting question. So I actually kind of manage the program, and I do teach as an adjunct as well. I teach producing, I teach the business of film, I teach acting for the camera, which is a really fun class that I love to teach. And then next semester, I got a lot of ideas from you, Anthony, actually. Next semester, for the first time, I'm teaching an intro to production class, which is our foundational production class.
I'm available.
Oh, good. Well, I might get some ideas.
That's amazing. So when people sign into Brooklyn College, a lot of the times because you offer so many different courses within the media industry, what do you think is the most popular class for people like to sign up for?
So it's interesting. The way that the program works is that you come in and you kind of indicate that you want to major in film. And then you've got a choice of concentration. So you can, under film, choose to concentrate in screenwriting, which is really the focus of feature-length script writing. We have industry studies, which is more geared to the before and after of production, right? So the development and then the distribution, kind of the business aspects of film. There is film studies, which is primarily theory criticism. So those are the analytical classes. If you're interested in maybe going on to teach at a college level or program film festivals, you might want to go that route. By far, our most popular concentration is film production. Okay, so when you come in as a student and you kind of walk the track of film production, you take a variety of classes that are required. So you will take a cinematography, a directing, location sound, post-production, and that track culminates, so the end of that brings you to a 3-sequence thesis track. So you'll make a 10-minute professional level short film, and that's part of the program. That's part of, kind of how you get your degree in film production. So it's hard to answer the question, what's the most popular class, because when you are a film production major, we'll use that as kind of the model, you have to take a certain number of classes. I will say, I'll kind of use this opportunity to say that, when you come in, you guys are lucky because you've had a chance to kind of sample some stuff and do some exploring now. A lot of times students will say, I love film, right? I want to be a filmmaker. I want to tell my stories. You come in with a concept of, what you want to do in the industry. And then you kind of get into the work and you can discover, really, where's my skill set? What do I love to do? I have seen students come in and say, I want to direct this. And they take the directing class and they're like, this ain't for me. I want to produce, right? So part of the experience is really to be open-minded and let yourself, explore these classes that you're taking. Because if you come in and you think you automatically know, then you could be closed off, right? So it's a kind of a combination of where's my interest, what's my skill set? Like, what am I naturally talented at, naturally inclined to do? And then when I do it, or I explore these other things, is anything else calling me, right? So to kind of stay open to how you're developing in terms of exploring the work. So just wanted to.
No, that's amazing. So how does that program help go beyond that? Because let's say if I go in and I want to be a director and I realize, going back to your example, I want to be a producer. Are there ways where I can find out what do I like about producing more than directing, or are those already provided in the classes?
That's a really great question, and part of the reason that I have a strong relationship with RealWorks is really through the Media Makers program, because when you come to school, film school, you're going to come through, you're going to learn some kind of hard skills. it is inevitable that you will need to kind of be in the workforce and experience what it's like on the ground to really answer that question, right? So we'll be able to provide like the hard skills. You'll understand kind of what a producer does. You're not going to really know that experience until you're in a production office, maybe interning in a production office, or you get your first gig as an office PA, right? And it also brings me to your story, which I think when you kind of talk about your experience, came in as under the cinematography track, and is now the in-house producer. So it's a perfect example of, I think, two things to remember in coming into an industry like this. First thing is, kind of touched on it before, where you've got to give yourself permission to develop beyond what you think you want to do. And it's a relationships business in that, when you're in the space and you show up, that would be kind of sidebar, one of my biggest points of advice. Wherever you show up, whether it's in the classroom or it's at an internship, give 100%. Because you don't know who you're around. You don't know what that thing, that position, whatever you're doing could turn into. And at the end of the day, it really is about, the opportunity that arises and you being there and ready for it, right? So I actually thought yours was an interesting experience, just the trajectory of kind of like, you're interested in this and now because you were in the same space, and I'm sure you did a really good job, and I'm sure you kept the relationships alive, and when the opportunity opened up, you were a candidate for it. So did I answer your question, or am I totally off on a tangent?
No, you did
Okay.
great.
All right.
Besides, we want you to go off on the tangent. Why don't you keep
I
talking?
figured you got 35 minutes to fill, but I can totally do it. So I'm going to send it back to you before I take it way off.
Yeah, so now we're gonna ask you guys like more general questions. I think in the film industry, a big part about wanting to become a filmmaker is making those connections and being able to really know yourself and talk to those people. And I know it might be for a lot of people, I know for me specifically, it's very hard for me to do that just because I feel like not only like when I talk I don't come across well enough, or that like I don't want to impose on someone else when they're having their conversation than me just like butting in and saying, oh well, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, So what advice do you guys give to people who want to network and to want to have those connections, but they probably can't get over that hurdle?
I have stuff to say about that. Yeah, I think I'm the kind of person who, like, when you say like the word networking, I'm like, I don't want to be like snaky. I don't want it to be transactional. And I think it really helped me shift how I thought about it when I was like, okay, genuinely, like, would I want to be like friends with this person? Do I want to hang out with this person? Do I want to, like, I think it's good to come into networking spaces with like a curiosity more about other people than about like sharing what you can do, and also like not try to go into it being like, oh, this is what I want to get out of the other person. It's more just like, I just want to get to know you, like, yeah.
I think that's early on. It takes some time, but you were saying with networking being transactional, and I think the word, I don't always like the word networking, is just putting yourself out there in a sense and just letting people get to know you. In a sense, when I was starting networking, it was really just about finding out what other people are about, and rather than looking for what you can get from them, the thing that I would do reverse, which is what smart networkers do, is what do I have to give to them? So if I'm talking to you, and probably happened with some of you in this room, and you tell me that you're doing such and such, I might say, oh, well, I got a lighting class. You want to come by my lighting class? There's a lot of times, but I do this all the time. There's a lot of things that I can do, especially sometimes for young filmmakers, that mean this much to me. Like, it means that much. It's like a few minutes out of my day, but to some of those people, it could be this big a thing. Come by and take a private tour, or let me show you how to do this. Or, oh, you having trouble with that camera? Call me up and I got that camera. So those are little things, but I would say offer yourself up to those people first, and that changes the whole nature of the transaction. And I follow it away, by the way. People follow it away. The people that I end up personally bringing on jobs are people, those decisions were made 6 months ago off of something they did or said or how I saw them perform, and only later does that turn into something that becomes a little more transactional. So I would say go into it first looking for what is that you have to offer. So if somebody tells you they have a production company, tell them, hey, I'd love to be an intern. I'd love to service you. Here's something I could do to help you. Or let me come to your screening or something like that, rather than, hey, I'm having a screening next week. Why don't you come to it? I just met you 2 minutes ago. Do the opposite. Offer me something, offer to help that person first, and then just sit back and wait. Don't expect anything back.
Okay. So like when it does come like networking with people and just meeting people to talk to in the industry, I mean, yeah, it's like a lot of it's like expressing yourself and just trying to be friendly with the person because that's the best way to get them to offer their time to you. But like when it comes to approaching them, yeah, it might seem hard, especially like if they're having a conversation with someone else too. But like either you could be patient and wait for it to finish, or you could just, you know, like try to formally and politely like introduce yourself to all the people there. You could probably like make a light joke to get some attention, you know. Just like show them that you're a friendly person, that you also want to engage in the conversation that they're talking about, and then yeah, just from there, just express who you are as your own individual person, and most of the time it will likely go well for you. You just simply just gotta take your time, relax, and just don't really be nervous with it. I mean, it might be a rush to you depending on like how sociable you are, but most of the time it's just like as long as you're relaxed and you know that you want to talk to this person, that'll work out for you in the end.
I can add a couple of things just to what already has been said. Anybody hear of something called imposter syndrome? You hear that term? So actually, not so long ago, I heard it. It was like a panel of like really high level, like super high level, like CEOs. I was watching this thing, and it was women. They were talking about how they deal with it, right? And these are like high performing, running huge companies, still talking about the idea of imposter syndrome. So it's like this, it's this feeling that when you walk into a room, you know, I'm not good enough to be here, I'm too small, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, I don't belong here, people are judging me. It's like that feeling of insecurity. So I bring it up to say that everybody feels it. So when you're in a room and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be here, maybe I shouldn't say it, you know, that is like the first, in my experience, that's the first battle. Like you almost can't listen to that, and you've got to just like hold your power and be like, everybody is thinking this, I do belong here, and I'm gonna hold my space here. So that's the first thing. And then the other point I would wanna bring up is the idea of like the long game. So sometimes I think, and this is from my experience, if we're in these social situations or like professional social networking situations, there, you can feel this like urgency maybe to close the deal now. Here's this person, you know, I gotta tell them now. I gotta get this now. I gotta sell myself, you know, blah, 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 in 5 seconds, right now. And I think patience and an understanding that relationship building isn't closing the deal in the moment. It's really the long game, right? It's having the patience for, you make the contact, even if it's a simple exchange and you don't dump your whole experience or what you want to do or what you need or what you don't have to do that in the moment. You can make good, pleasant contact and follow up, right? In 2 or 3 weeks, you can follow up. It's so great to meet you at this event. I really liked what I heard from you. This is kind of what I do. And relationship building, you know, it doesn't mean, you know, stalk them, right? Or like, you know, every week send an email, but it means having the patience to kind of build that out. It's like planting seeds. You plant a seed in the ground, the flower doesn't pop up in a month. Sometimes it takes 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Some relationships need that tending to. So I would just say, be mindful of that. It doesn't have to be closing the deal in the moment. It's not like I got one shot and that's it. You know, think about it as I'm in it for the long run and I'm gonna just build these nice relationships, leave people with good energy.
That also goes into my next question about networking is that I know for you specifically, Jen, you know, you made these connections through Media Makers and through your experience, and now it's like you're in-house producer, you're so cool, you know? So it's like, how is it really that cut and dry whenever you're trying to make those deeper connections, that you like get the email, get the number or something, and then when you need them, you like email them or like, hey, how are you doing? Or is there something like a step more that needs to be taken in order to really cement yourself with those people and to say, hey, I know that person, you need them, I got you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, you should get people's contact information if you really connected with them, or even if you didn't, and you should follow up with them, and not like ask them for stuff. Like, I think it's really just like, it's also maintaining a relationship if you're like updating someone about like how you're doing or like what you're working on, or like if your ask is really small, and if it's just like can we go for like a 15-minute like coffee chat or like call, like I would love to hear more about your role or like whatever it is. Yeah.
This is also open to our videos too.
Yeah.
So that's a problem?
Just how are you able to like, if you want to create those deeper connections, is there an extra step into doing it, or?
I got you. Really simple for me. I'm trying to, in this business, you can't do anything, even your smallest films, without allies. So I'm on a lifelong, career-long mission to build allies, and I don't even think about it. I'm almost 20 hours. How many people can I help in how many different ways? Again, there's so many things I can do that aren't a lot of effort or time for me, but I know they mean a lot to somebody else sometimes. So whenever I see a chance to do those things, I'll try to do those things. I got a young man that used to mentor with, and his camera recently broke down. He's coming over my house tonight to rent my camera. It's the kind of thing. Not only rent my camera, everybody, by the way, some of you know I do. But this person I've been working with for a while, but it's one of those things. It's just another ally building thing. So I look for opportunities to help other people, especially in ways that don't necessarily take a lot of my time. Sometimes they do, but it's usually fun and adventurous stuff. If I hear somebody's doing something, I try to get involved with that, and then it tends to lead to other things. The more people I help, let's put it this way, the more opportunities seem to pop up. So I would say help people, help them advance their goals. I'm always listening. I'm literally at a party. If I overhear you say something, there's a chance for me to help, I'm gonna slide up in there, not with the request, I'm gonna slide up in there with, hey, here's a little something I can do for you. Or hey, here's a bit of knowledge I know about that you may not know. Or do you know about PureSpace? Do you know about the service? Whatever it is, I'm looking to always try to solve other people's problems, and people like that. People like when we help solve their problems. And again, there's so many things you guys can think of that aren't big for you, but can be big for somebody else. If you've never heard of PureSpace.com and you are pressed for a documentary interview location, I can be your best friend at a party right there and just give you a whole bunch of things. So that's what I was talking about. Make allies and do as many things, and you'll find that over time, they start coming back to you. I have those favors come back to me in all kinds of strange and wonderful ways. So I'm going to keep going around there.
So, you guys are all in different positions. Obviously, you're going into college, you guys work there. So what advice would you give to someone who is going into college, or who does want to apply to your programs, or who does want to go into Media Makers? Like, go down the line.
All right. So like for advice for going into college, since I know like a lot of people here are like juniors, right? Yeah. So like I feel like important advice for you guys would be like, number one, personal statements is definitely a top priority, because that could essentially make or break your college application right there. Like grades matter, yes, but even if you have like a 2.8 even, if you have a great personal statement, you could still get into a top college. Like not only that, but also your extracurricular activities. That is also a very important thing you should prioritize, because both of those combined alone could just stack up your entire college application right then and there. Because like say you're passionate about film, right? And like you put in your extracurricular section in college that you've done like so many Reels programs, Media Makers programs, a bunch of different film programs in fact, and then you write about that on your personal statement too. The college will see that, okay, this person is actually serious about their passion and their interest, and that they want to go for film, and they'll likely let you in, honestly. And even if you're like, you don't know what you want to do, if you write about that and it's like a really good emotional personal statement especially, your soul, like the school will definitely take you into consideration, matter of fact. Like just when it comes to college though, definitely prioritize personal statement and extracurriculars. That can do a lot.
Yeah, I would think one of the mistakes I think or miscalculations people make sometimes, they think to go to a good film school that you have to have this super film, this super polished film, or something you spent 3 weeks on with your friends and spent $10,000 on, and it's really not the case. You're wasting some of your money probably to do that. What they're really looking for is, what do you have to say? Who are you as a person? What kind of stories do you want to tell? Why do you want to tell these stories? I think those things are much more important. Even if you want to just write it, in a short story form, rather than going out and trying to make the biggest, best production. We're not looking for polished productions. It's a film school. We're going to teach you how to do polishing. We're not worried about how polished you are, and it could even be, in some cases, a detriment, because we're like, hey, this person seems like they may not have much to learn from us, or isn't looking to learn too much. So we're looking for, what is it you have to say? Who are you as a person? And I would put the focus on that, rather than trying to create a polished piece. You'd be better off with a rough piece that had a lot to say than a polished piece that was super slick that didn't say anything.
Yeah, as for media makers, I think sign up for the newsletter. Keep an eye out on the website for any announcements for the different programs. There's like career exploration and there's sorry, I'm gonna go first. There's career exploration and there's career discovery. I think career discovery is kind of like it encompasses like career lab. I think maybe you guys are eligible for it. Someone will correct me, maybe. But they kind of bring you around to like different companies and like have you talk to many different people and learn professional development skills. And then career exploration, that's career exploration. And then career development is in partnership with production companies, unions, large media companies. And those are kind of like setting you on the professional track to like start working. And you don't need a college education in order to apply to those things. So keep an eye out on those. They have many different things you could do. They had like a camera loader training. They had post VFX coordinator, like video playback assist, set dressing, studio mechanics, all these different things. If you're interested in those things, keep an eye out. You should definitely apply, and you should definitely keep applying, even if you don't get in the first time. Especially if you don't get in the first time. So yeah, that's all.
So, of course, I'm at Brooklyn College, so I want you guys all to come to Brooklyn College. That being said, well, what I will say is, you know, if you decide to come to a film school, I mean, NYU too, I'm not going to visit it. Wherever you want to go is fine. But, you know, film school will give you the structure, right, to kind of come and learn specific hard skills about the craft of filmmaking. What I will say in terms of advice is some of the things that we talked about here, like the relationships building, like the kind of identifying what in the industry, because it's a huge industry with hundreds of different career paths, hundreds, maybe even more. I mean, it's enormous, right? It's a vast industry. So I would say to you, while you're entering the college experience, just have that in your mind. Take the opportunity to really explore that while you're in school. You know, get into internships. Doesn't have you can have the internship and say, oh my God, totally not for me. But you're in a setting. You've not only been exposed to the work that you've done as an intern, you're kind of exposed to the work that's happening around you. So that might help you identify what maybe the next internship you want to do is. So I would say at the same time that you're in college, right, and going to class and have that structure and learning all these great hard skills and some soft skills, try to get your toe, your foot in the industry at the same time, so that when you're done with school, because this is not an industry where at the end they're going to be like, oh, you got a BA or BFA in film production, come on in. You're going to apply for a director job. It doesn't work that way, right? So in a lot of the craft positions, so for camera, DP, you know, they're looking for reels, right? So when you're in college, do the best work you can. That work, those projects you do, they can become part of your resume, part of your reel. So you want to treat it really as a professional thing, even while you're in college, okay? And stay connected to the industry. Those internships, those, you know, these great media makers programs, they are great. You know, if you can get into it, do the career exploration and just prepare yourself, because you don't want to kind of be done and then you're like, where's my job coming from, right? You have to have done that work, you know, even 2 years before. As sophomores, I would say, sophomores, juniors start to think about that.
That is my curriculum, and then there's your curriculum of films I'm going to work on, clubs I'm going to be involved with, because that's where your relationships and things extend so much more. By getting involved with the film festival when I was at NYU, led to one of my first jobs, getting out of NYU. One of the first things is like, hey, my boss had this student film festival, he wanted somebody to run it, he hated running it. Hey, guess what I did in college? I ran a student film festival as a volunteer opportunity that ended up turning into something big. So look at the big picture of all the things being offered to you, and don't just take classes, take everything you can afford to get involved in terms of extracurriculars.
I find it kind of cool that like both of you basically said the same answer. You were talking about going to college as a means to an end, and you're talking about it as a means to an end, but you just said it in like different ways. It's just, like that's actually what I wanted to hear as from like the teachers, like that they have the same experience. Not so much experience, but they have like the same like
Mindset?
same mindset. Yeah, like just don't look into it as just like going from point A to point B. Take point A and go all around the freaking world. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm glad, like I'm satisfied. Thank you.
So I don't believe we have time for. Do you have time for more questions? Oh, that's it. Okay, so you two obviously have questions. If you do have time, you can ask them for yourself personally on your way out. We asked that the.
Okay, so first we're gonna get some photos really quick. In a bit, will you guys all join us near the backdrop? I don't know what to call it.
Let's give a round of applause for our panelists. So we're gonna get a group photo, as Ben was saying. So our panelists up there up front, and can we have the youth ambassadors join them first? The people who help organize this event.
Also, stick around for
Jojo.
stick around for Kate.
Also, stick around for a special event that we have.
Yeah, so stick around. We're gonna take a group photo too.
Where?
On camping.
Thank you.
Alright, and for everyone else,
Just a little bit of
if you're
swag.
a senior, we're going to be doing
Florida
cake
swag.
and gifts for you all. If you're not a senior, there's cake and there's
I'm a
Alright, so youth ambassadors, please come. Our panelists, maybe stay seated and the youth ambassadors go in between, like behind in this room. Maybe scoot, maybe. Cammy, can you go stand behind Anthony and
guys in the front.
yeah, back
you
there.
guys move.
And then
I'll just.
all the rest of the people, you're going to scoot back because we're going to be in the next photo.
Okay. Watch my camera.
And then we're just going to hang out.
You're good.
Yeah, I got you, Anthony. All right. Okay. Ready? All right, first you're going to look at me, and then you're going to look at Dante. Ready? 1, 2. Nice. 1, 2. And then I'm going to take another one right here. 3, 2. You gonna say 1? Oh, it's back. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Alright, and now I'm gonna bring in the other folks.
All of us?
Yeah, all of y'all.
Oh man.
Everybody that came, you guys come take a picture.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, picture time. Come on.
Picture.
We get our seniors in here.
Wait, put.
Let's get a picture. One more photo. Yeah, that's it. And then. Come on, guys. Come on, Elijah. Come on, Kaya.
Oh,
Come on,
yeah.
Victor. Come on over.
Watch you.
Grab a seat right here. Grab a seat. Yeah. If you're a senior, maybe at the front. If we have another senior graduating.
Wait, what about all? I'm not.
If not, come on down. Sana, come
Wait, my camera.
Yes, Katsumi. Here's another. There's another chair right there. That's your seat.
Wait.
Right here, Katsumi, you're right here.
Yeah, it'd be great to have.
Hell yeah.
Get some of you guys at the end on this.
Nick, you're gonna come on over here. You're gonna be right over on this spot. Victor, you're gonna scoot behind what the panelists. Oh, it's hard. There's a desk. Never mind. Maybe you won't be able to get there. But you guys will look great.
Wait.
Nick, I'm gonna have you sit in that little corner right there. You're over here. Yep. There you go. You want to grab that stool and bring it over? All right. All right. We're gonna say real works on 3. Ready? We're gonna go wide angle on this. 1, 2, 3. Real works.
Real works.
And now we're gonna say congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right.
Also, one last thing. The youth ambassadors, we are doing a summer screening very soon. Be prepared to find the promo and I believe ad. In the next couple of weeks, we're doing a film screening in Prospect Park. It's going to be awesome. Please come. Outdoor film screening, y'all. All right.
Take advantage of
Oh wait, Benji? Okay. And just
Kate, photo booth. Have fun. We'll be here for another half hour.